Hi guys. So I sort of left you hanging last week. I said I was going to do some more videos spreading it out about a couple things, cross-promoting with other direct sales companies, and also doing more than one in terms of just nothing to do with the cross-promoting aspect, but your own focus and finding success. And so on that video last week, I kind of tried to give you guys a little bit of a breaking into the subject of why we wanted to cover it, and hoping that we would find a way to make it fun. I'm still sort of trying to figure out a way to do that since Easter and more snow and kids at home got in the way a bit, but I don't want to leave this any longer. So tonight I'm going to talk about the doing more than one business, and I know we did cover it a little bit in the comments under the video last week, which I can bump for those of you that are new. But the reason we want to talk about it is not because we want to tell you what to do, because that really isn't, it's not our place and it's not our job, but it's also not our interest. I can really honestly say that even though every single one of us on Team Wix Away, especially those working towards leadership and having a team and being a director and making this a career even, every single one of us, yeah, we want those things for ourselves, but not in a negative, greedy, force other people to do things for us way. I think it's safe to say that we all chose Scentsy, or stuck with Scentsy, because we found that culture that maybe we hadn't found in other attempts, where that pressure isn't needed. Some of that is in our compensation plan and the way it's designed to not lose anybody ever, as long as you stay an active consultant. You may not get paid the same way every month, but you can always get caught up and gain that pay on that leg of your downline again. For upper leadership bonuses, there are expectations. There's things that need to be met, but they're built in a way that by the time you reach that stage, for the most part, it should be consistent. And if not, it's just a sign of, you know what, you hit the title because you had a really good month in the fall. But you may not get continued pay at that title for for another year while you continue to build. But it's not that you're any worse off losing team or losing bonus on your team. I've done, I started a breakfast club with a couple of friends that are in 2 other direct sales companies in a similar rank or title to me, where they have leaders underneath them. And so we're just having breakfast once a month to support each other in that, since, this is a small place and not a lot of people. They're friends, and it's neat to discuss other companies. We're definitely not cross-promoting because we're all very passionate about our own company, and that expectation is there that we're not going to be there to draw the others to our company, because that's against the code of ethics. It's against our policies within Scentsy and most likely in theirs. And it's just counterproductive to the purpose of our group. Because, I think we're all very similar in that we like learning how other companies do things, because it can guide us in how we train and support you guys, our team. So our first breakfast last month was interesting because it was just a lot of, oh, well, how is it with you guys? Well, how is it? What do you guys do in this situation? And, for the most part, it was hard because I'm visual. And so we're going to be actually sending each other some visual stuff to understand it better too. But basically, we covered compensation plan. We covered incentive programs. We covered trips. And they're all different. And they all have things that seem easier and things that seem, oh, I'm glad ours is a much less complicated way to do things. So for me, that strengthens my passion for Scentsy even more. if you don't know already, I did do another direct sales company before I had children and while working full-time as a social worker. So I didn't work it in the same life journey as I am now, but I certainly feel like I probably had more focus back then with no children to need things from me. But nevertheless, it was a different product. It was a different company and a completely different setup. And so all along, I've had these things that I know are awesome about Scentsy, and they've kept my passion and my excitement alive before I even started earning things, because of the stories I could tell of, you know, people I knew, my upline, my friends, not just, you know, the top dogs in the company that were going on trips. And so that was my goal, because I really believed it was possible based on the stories I had heard and read already. And, you know, there is that myth in every direct sales about being the first one in. And so I'm aware and conscious of the fact that that can be in the back of your minds, or a potential recruit I'm discussing it with, that, well, she, you know, I don't need to believe her because she was one of the first ones in Nova Scotia. But that doesn't mean anything. As many will tell you, even newer consultants in Boise, where head office of Scentsy is, and it's been for 10 years, are still growing teams and earning trips as newer consultants, because this industry naturally has people come and go. It's easy to start. It's easy to quit. And it's not easy to do. I think people confuse the word simple with easy. There are simple systems that anybody can learn and establish and put into place, but it's not easy, because you have to be consistent and you have to actually do that work. You have to step out of your comfort zone and get scared and get uncomfortable and pick yourself back up when it's hard, because that's the natural ebb and flow of this business, not Scentsy, direct sales, probably business in general. I mean, my boyfriend and I are in a typical business situation, not really me. I mean, it's him, but obviously as a family and my supporting the home front and my own business on my own while he does it, I feel it. And it's a huger investment. It's a way bigger risk of loss if it doesn't work. He has to work his butt off until that stage is reached when he can hire staff, and then he has to trust staff, and deal with all the paperwork involved with having staff. So that's why they say direct sales is such a beauty to get into, because all of us just buy a starter kit, and that's all we need. And the rest we can learn as we go. We can, you know, work to our strengths and our natural inclinations. Some of us are more people persons. I don't know how that sounds better. I don't think either really sounded good, but some of us are more that. Some of us are shy, but we're super good at consistency and boundaries and sticking to a timeline, and not like me at 12:30 a.m. doing a video because it's finally quiet in the house again. And so they have those strengths. And what I love about Scentsy is that we have this culture that starts from the top and therefore trickles down because of the example and role modeling and messages and teachings that we get through corporate staff trainings, leaders like me and other SSDs that have, you know, gotten to know the owners and the company better by being a superstar director, but also from time in. So then we, you know, for the most part, carry on that culture. So it trickles down. And that is that giving more than you take will always bless you in return more abundantly. And that the more we work together, the better it is for everybody. And that's one thing I really took to heart when I was one of the first consultants here. I haven't met any of the 26 Nova Scotian consultants that existed before me. I think I've spoke on Facebook to a couple of them, but haven't met them in person because they haven't made it out to any events that, you know, we've put on in New Brunswick or other official Scentsy ones. And I'm not saying that they didn't work hard. I'm just saying, you know, well, because all of us had an opportunity. That's barely any consultants for an entire province. But I ran with it, and it wasn't easy because I needed to get over the rejections, keep going, keep trying new things, keep talking about Scentsy. And it wasn't just because it was a new product here. It was because I wasn't from here. I just moved here. So I didn't have a big network. I don't understand the life here, the economy. I had to learn all that. I had my own family issues with a baby being tested all the time for all kinds of things at the IWK, and the other one waiting to be assessed for autism or ADHD, and never standing still ever. He still doesn't. And a spouse with PTSD trying to get into proper trauma treatment. And that's the reason we had moved here. So I joke that Scentsy, people can really shine with Scentsy if they're not happy in their life. And I'm not saying that's needed, but it's definitely something that for myself, I noticed when I was needing an escape, I definitely put in more energy and consistency with my business because it was my happy place. And Scentsy is still my happy place. I just have other happy places in life, and that's a good thing that I brought that back into my life. It's just I had to reevaluate my time and how to use it and commit it to Scentsy. But I giggle that it was a good thing that at that time in my life when it needed a lot of attention that I was actually willing to give it that attention. So, but yeah, what was the other thing? The rejection of not knowing people not having a lot of money, the stuff going on in my life, and the issue was sent in Nova Scotia and Halifax. Many events telling me that I wasn't allowed, or make sure it's not going to be turned on, or I have to check first because the building is scent free, or other vendors. I don't want to lose other vendors. And just really having to advocate, look, I won't turn them on. They don't give off a smell unless they're opened. And then that translates into sales that people, especially not knowing me, I had to sell it all on my personality for them to give it a chance. And I did well with that. I'm not going to lie. And I believe that's part of why I found fast early success, because I could sell it based on my personality and my social work skills of reading people and being able to approach the subject with them based on how I felt they needed because of how I had read them, you know, what the situation in their life was, and not just telling my story. Sorry. You can tell I'm ADHD too. I need something in my hands. But I wasn't going to sell everybody, because me telling them that they probably won't react like they do to other scented products, and here's why, and here's all these anecdotal stories, they know I'm trying to sell them something. And we all have our preconceived notions of salespeople and pitches that they're taught, and you know, what their purpose is. I giggle too, because when I met my boyfriend, he worked at a call center in sales, and he even dealt with customers that were already their customers. He was just trying to get them to renew. And he would talk about their trainings, and he'd have all these code things like how to close. And it took me a while. Like, he would come and do craft shows with me, and I would say, like, don't talk, just watch me, because he was such a confident salesperson that he thought he was going to be able to just come in and show me how great of a help he was going to be. And I was nervous and wanting to hold him back, because I felt that energy is detrimental to my success at a craft show, because people are prepared for being pushed, and they get their back up, or they take a wide berth and don't go past your table. I've had that happen in my early days because of the table beside me trying to steal my customers that were waiting for me to have a chance to talk to them about this awesome new product that looked gorgeous and smelt amazing. They were getting accosted by the women at the booth next to them. So people would like skip my booth and turn the corner faster to stay away. I've been through it all. And, you know, but I told him, just watch me, because I don't need the sales. and I'm not going to get them if they're pressured. And I'm not here just for sales. That's the beauty of a direct sales business at a craft show. The artisans are there to sell, and they can only sell as much as their hands can make. So that's their limit to how much they can make. And our limit is a lot greater because pretty much it's controlled by us. Yes, the industry has rules for very good reason, so that we can continue to have people trust us, that it's not a scam. And I giggle at pyramid because, yes, it's a pyramid. Walmart's a pyramid. Everything is shaped like a pyramid, and it's confused with the word pyramid scheme, which is an entirely different thing. So when that comes up, I talk about the fact that, yeah, we're a pyramid. We just don't have storefronts and CEOs and a huge advertising budget. Instead, we can start for cheap and build a great income by the influence we bring and the training and support that we give. And we get great trips and other rewards for doing that. And the compensation plan is built to stop at three generations deep of directors. That's as detailed as I'll get today because I know it's hard to follow until it's necessary in your business. That's part of the learn as you go. It's easier to understand that part of the compensation plan when it matters. Unless you ask and you're a go-getter and you are a numbers person, we'll absolutely go over it with you. But I find it easier to just focus on, and it's not secrets. It's just, you'll understand it better and it's less overwhelming if you do it at the right time. Anyway, sorry for that tangent, but it stops at 3 generations deep, meaning every leadership position does not get paid unless they hit their 500 PRV, which in Canada is roughly $600 in sales retail before taxes. And so if you don't do that month, you're not getting paid on your team. However, if you have a bad month or you go on vacation and you don't want to, and you can just accept not getting paid versus losing team or losing the payment for your car that you earned from them. Examples like that. You just don't get paid on them that month and, back at it the next month. So I can't sit here as the, early one in Halifax who worked hard in the beginning, and now I get to just, eat junk food all day and get paid millions of dollars. It doesn't work that way. I have to do my sales, but I also have to keep growing wide and keep training, because if I just wait for it to go deep, it gets cut off and I don't get paid on those lower levels. And if you're not supporting, you're not making money, because they need to know how to grow wide so that you can keep making money from their growth underneath them. So that's the beauty of direct sales. And that is also why, and I'm already almost at 20 minutes, and so this might need to be the end of today's video, but it's a really long introduction and important. And I guess telling my story is a good way to do that, because I got in on a per se ground floor opportunity with Scentsy, to say that it's not easy. It's not necessary for success to be the first one. And on other videos, when I go over the downside to joining every new company as it opens, which we're really experiencing here in Canada, there's lots of growth because the industry is being recognized. There's a lot more companies coming out, which is fantastic. And we're just noticing a lot of them coming up into Canada, and a lot of them are launching in Canada in very different ways than Scentsy did. They are starting in Ontario and choosing people from Ontario to be the ones to spread it to other areas of Canada, therefore deciding right from the beginning that Nova Scotians and New Brunswick and PEI people aren't good enough to build Canadian teams. That right there is a red flag for me with a company, but that's what's happening. And I know that, they're great products and it's exciting, but joining them all is really actually a sales focus and brings you back down to being like the artisans at the craft shows whose limit of income stops at their production ability as one person. Because they may not be making it, but if they're only making money off of their sales, there's only so many hours in the day. And they're only one person. They can't do 3 craft shows in one weekend. And those of us from Halifax know there's a lot everywhere, which is an advantage because there's more opportunity for us to get into craft shows, and it can be a downside thing that there's so many here because you know, it can be hard for customer loyalty because we know they can just go anywhere to a hall on the weekend and find the Scentsy lady now that we've grown. When I used to travel for hours to craft shows so that I could meet you guys and have you join this amazing company. So those are some of the things that are concerning us, and I really, really cannot express enough that concern is for you. And your success, especially if you have expressed to us a goal of quitting a job, staying home with your kids, earning trips, financial freedom, you know, paying off debt, getting a cabin or a cottage, it's called out here, or a trailer, going on a vacation. If those are goals of yours, we can help you, but we can only help you within what you're willing to do, give you the ideas. We can't, you know, make you good at something. We can just tell you and inspire you to keep going through the no's because they're necessary to get the yeses. We can role model by continuing to work our businesses. And we are better at teaching you from the standpoint of being all in with Scentsy. And it isn't this cult, Scentsy's the only good company. Obviously, we're biased and we believe that there are things about Scentsy that stand out compared to other companies we've tried or researched. You know, for me, it was a consumable product, a product that's more affordable for more income levels, and a product that appeals to a greater group of people in terms of gifting and themselves. I mean, men are the ones commenting about how good it smells as they walk by my booth. And it's not just one, you know, small target audience of women of a certain age and fashion sense and likes and income level. It doesn't squish it into there. And then the other thing Orville says a lot is that, you know, researching a company's stamina, that was actually Jacob's word of the day for his orange juice giving him stamina. That's funny that I used it because he didn't really know what it meant. He just started using it. But the stamina of a company. And so we were lucky in Canada that Scentsy had proven itself for 5 years already, and now almost 11. We're going on. So it can give you that confidence that this isn't just a startup company that's going to one day lock us out of our workstation and we'll lose everything we've built. Because Scentsy wants us to build a legacy for our kids. And I've said this before real quick, you can leave Scentsy as a business. You're building something that you can leave in your will. It doesn't die with you. Or you can sell it to your kids when you want to retire. And then the international piece, right? And the multi-brand piece that we're able to recruit outside of our country and regions and outside of our brand. So I know I've been saying Scentsy a lot, but Velada exists there too. So if you've got someone under you that's passion is food and all that Velada has to offer, you can still have them as a part of your team and your organization and your pay. And your exponential growth, which I will go into in more detail on another video. Even if they don't want to sell smelly things and warmers. So those are some things that really stand out about Scentsy. There's obviously more when I talk to friends about, you know, how their trips are earned or if they've ever earned or how their compensation plan works. There's things that I think their companies do good because they've been around a long time and they've learned different incentives to offer to help get parties or help keep people motivated. And Scentsy is always learning and growing, and they are in a huge transition stage in terms of the growth because they grew so fast at the beginning and they didn't need to inject much backup from the company. And so I feel like we've entered this phase of, you know, we're still growing and we've got all these people that are in and passionate and believe in the company. And it's not anywhere near saturation. We've got 150,000 worldwide Scentsy consultants compared to the 3 million? No. Yeah. In Mary Kay, I think it is. And even more than that in Avon. So we are definitely babies in the world of direct sales. And but we're reaching that stage where we have to go, hey, what about this? Is this going to help people get parties and keep that lifeline of their business going in an area where, you know, there are more people selling Scentsy, and it isn't just easy peasy customers coming to them when they need more without that extra effort. So definitely be reassured that the company is doing that and that they listen to us and we're a part of that advocacy. And yeah, there's so much more I want to go over in other videos. I just don't want this to be too long. But I feel this was necessary, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed hearing a little bit of my story and the beginnings of, you know, I'm so proud when I hear conversations passing by of the people who know Scentsy now and love it. Because as I was saying at the beginning, they knew I was trying to sell them something, and so they maybe didn't buy it all, or would only buy the least expensive, like a nightlight warmer. And now it is our expensive, gorgeous lampshades that are off the table and sold out fast, and our holiday warmers. And people who were maybe nervous to try it just because of what I said are Scentsy addicts now because of word of mouth from a friend or family member that they have that easier loyalty, or easier trust in, or went over to their house and realized it didn't bother them. And that is always going to sell better. So that's the challenge that comes with some of the benefits of being in early. And I'm not saying this to brag, but it's hard, and it takes a lot of dedication and stubbornness to not give up, and belief that you are going to reach your goals. And this is a company that supports people in that belief very well. And we can do that for you. You can still build that here, and you have the benefit of Scentsy being more known, but it's still not completely known for sure. And you know, we don't want to see you lose those goals because of trying to run yourself ragged, selling more and more and more things, losing your focus on one company and one downline and one trip to earn, and also appearing to friends and family like this company has something good going on, because look at how committed you are. You're not selling everything or joining everything. They're more likely to join you when if they trust you and they see that you trust Scentsy. If you just sell everything, they're going to feel like, wow, she's not doing very good with just Scentsy, so do I really want to do it? That kind of stuff. So that's the stuff we want you guys to be thinking about. We are not telling you not to do it. I'll go over the actual rules and cross-promoting to do with doing other organizations. I just want you guys to be thinking about why we may feel this is an important discussion. And maybe just get some of you inspired again, but for us to have an amazing year with these awesome new catalogs that are coming out. Okay, I'm done now, I promise. Bye.